If you started making listings on Etsy starting from today for 12 months, by the end of the 12 months, you're going to have at least 365 listings, and you would have a couple of bestsellers by now. And those bestsellers will allow you to build a Shopify store that you can eventually scale to become your entire business. You wouldn't have to work a job, you wouldn't have to listen to anyone, and you would be able to sustain yourself off just your art from only a year of consistent effort. But most artists aren't willing to go through that pain, so they'll suffer a whole life of mediocrity, and they'll wake up a year from now in the exact same place they were. So in this video, I'm going to go over exactly how you're going to go about doing this, and I'll talk a little bit about motivation as well as the strategy you need to start posting listings, because you're not just going to blindly post to Etsy listings every day. You're going to follow a strategy, and I'll go over that after I get through the motivational bit. So right now, if you don't have an Etsy store or you just started on Etsy, you probably have a couple of listings and they're not getting any sales, they're not getting any favorites. And part of you already wants to give up, or part of you doesn't even want to start because you know that the feeling is very familiar where you just jump into Etsy or content creation or literally even a video game. In that beginning phase, it really sucks, right? Like everyone's around you is better than you. You can see the huge amount of people who are also stuck in the grind. And then you can see like, oh my God, look, this guy worked for like 2 years and he's still at 200 subscribers. What you're going to do is focus on them and use that as an excuse to not start yourself. But just think about how that sounds, right? Like, oh, I never tried to achieve my dreams because other people failed at achieving that same dream. You can just see how silly that sounds if I just say it out loud. But a lot of artists use that as an excuse to hold themselves back. You're not the person who grinded for a year who got 200 subs. And even if you were that person still has 1 year of experience on you. And if that person keeps iterating and testing, that person could make it, but you don't see it because they're still in the grind phase. Businesses have this curve where it looks like this. It seems like nothing's happening, and then suddenly it compounds. It's kind of like compound interest. Like if you look at any of these graphs on how money works, it also works the same way with businesses. It compounds to a certain point. Like this guy who you saw with 200 subs after a year of trying, he's right here right now, and you're over here. All you see is this guy here, but you don't see that he's close to the peak where he's actually going to start making progress. But you don't get to see that because you just see people are where they're at. But if you are the type of person to laugh at them, or if you're the type of person to even have a mental thought, like, look at that person, how sad, then in a way, you're telling yourself that as well, because you basically close that door for yourself. Because if you were ever there, if you made content for a whole year and you had 200 subs, then you're basically going to critique yourself in the same way. Like, look at how pathetic you are. That's basically what you're saying to yourself. And you've closed that door for you to ever even try. And that's why so many people stay stuck for their entire lives, because they'd rather spend 80 years in their comfort and laughing at other people or judging other people than being the one in the trenches trying to make it on their own. And unfortunately, when you're in this trap, you also tend to dissociate, where you just play video games, you watch Netflix, and then you think that your hedonism is better than other people who are trying. Okay, so hopefully that was enough motivation